This is volumes of rectangular prisms. The volume is a measure of the amount of space that a 3D solid occupies. Another way of thinking about volume is if you've got a box, here I have a cube, and I open it up, volume is the measure of how much fits inside of this cube, how much space is inside of here. So in order to find the volume, I would want to know how much I can fit in the base, how much fits in the bottom. If I just want to cover up the bottom, how much space is that? And then I can layer things up inside of the box, up along the side until I reach the height. So I want to find how much fits in the base times how tall it is. Well, if it's a rectangular prism, that means the base is a rectangle. And to find out how much space is in the base, I can just do length times width, or find the area of the base. So to find how much fits in the base, I'll do length times width. And then to figure out how high I can layer everything, I'm doing times height. So to find the volume, I'm doing length times width times height. Now volume is measured in cubic units. So an example would be inches cubed or feet cubed, millimeters cubed, centimeters cubed, and so on. So let's take a look at an example. So in our first rectangular prism here, the length of this prism is 7/8 meters. The width is 1/2 meters, and the height is 5/8 meters. I always look when I have fractions to see if I can do any cross reducing here. So I look across at my numerators and denominators. I don't see any here, so I'm just going to multiply across. 7 times 1 times 5 gives me 35. 8 times 2 times 8 gives me 128, and my label here is meters cubed. Let's take a look at another example. So here we have a cube. I know that because I see that the length, the width, and the height are all identical, which means these are square faces, and any solid with 6 square faces is a cube. So the length is 3/4, the width is 3/4, and the height is 3/4. There isn't any cross reducing for us to do here, so we're just going to multiply across. 3 times 3 times 3 gives us 27. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, and my label is yards cubed. So the volume is 27/64 yards cubed. My next problem says that 1 cubic foot of dirt weighs about 70 pounds. How many pounds of dirt can the dump truck haul when it is full? So this dump truck has a rectangular prism on the back to hold the dirt. It lays flat when it's hauling the dirt, and then it lifts up so it can dump the dirt out of the truck. So let's take a look. If we're trying to find the volume of any rectangular prism, we're doing length times width times height. So the length of the back of this truck is 17 feet. The width is 8 feet. And the height of that back part of the truck is 4 3/4 feet. Since I have a fraction here, I'm going to turn it into an improper fraction, and I'm just going to make sure all of my numbers are fractions. So to make 17 a fraction, I'm just going to write 17 over 1. 8 will become 8 over 1. And for this fraction, I'm going to do 4 times 4 is 16, plus my 3 is 19 fourths. I always want to check if there's any cross reducing. Finally, in this problem, I see some. 4 and 8 will cross reduce. I can divide them both by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I'm doing 17 times 2 times 19, and I get 646. And on the bottom, I'm doing 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. So this truck can carry 646 cubic feet of dirt. Now the question asks us how much this truck can carry in pounds. Well, one of these cubic feet is 70 pounds. So I need to do 646 times 70. So I'm going to do 646 times 70 on my calculator. And I get 45,220 pounds. So So the truck can carry a lot of dirt. In this final question, we're trying to find a missing dimension. Remember, when we're finding volume, we always look for the length and multiply it by the width and multiply that by the height. In this case, the volume is being given to us. It's 1,792 inches cubed. And we're also being given the length of this shape, which is 16, and the width of this shape, which is 7, but the height is unknown. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to multiply 16 times 7 and figure out what that is. 16 times 7, those two I can combine and I get 112. So 112 times h is giving us a volume of 1,792. So in order to solve for h, my variable here, I'm going to divide each side by 112. That's the inverse of multiplying by 112. And multiplying and dividing by 112 cancel out. And over here, 1,792 divided by 112 gives me 16. So the height in this case for this shape is 16 inches.